All right, today we are going to go through the process of putting the emblems back on the nose piece, and then I'll do the hood cover. I've put the decals that I make on both the and the Minneapolis Moline that fit on the front. We painted the nose piece here. The white was pretty rusty and not looking very good, so we cleaned this up, repainted the black, and then we painted the white on the hood. We left the yellow original because we want to keep this tractor basically original, but the white was looking so bad I couldn't take it anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get everything together here with some silicone, either clear or white silicone's what you need. You need some number 8 screws, preferably with a white head, and then a screwdriver, and we'll go through the process of putting these on. All right, the silicone that I have is not the best. I don't like this stuff. It doesn't, I use both hands to get it out of the tube. So before I do the side panels, I will go get some better silicone. It's what happens when you let somebody borrow it and then it doesn't come back. So basically what I've done is I've just put a little bit of white silicone on the back of the of each nameplate. Not a lot, just a little. This stuff is like cake icing. It's really thick. I don't really like how that is, but it will work for this. Then I put a little bit over each hole. So when you put the screw through, it secures the screw in so the screw doesn't back out. And also if you chip the paint as the screw's going through, it hopefully will seal it up so it doesn't rust. I said I get stainless number 8 white painted screws, and so if you start with that, and this part's probably the easiest part of the whole process. Put your screw through, get it lined up in the hole. While it's still a little bit loose, another screw. Get it lined up, and then you can tighten it down. Snug, I wouldn't go real tight so you don't strip out the hole. And that's on. And then we're going to move to the nameplate. Make sure you get it facing the right way so you don't have WW. That would be bad. Get it lined up. And same thing, keeping it just a little bit loose because your caulk is going to want to catch hold. The screws are not really to secure it to the tractor. I mean, they do kind of, but they don't really bite real well in those holes. More what the screws are for is to plug up those holes so it looks better. But the silicone's what will adhere to the screen and to the tractor and hold it on, and the screws are there for more just cosmetic type of a look. So this is what it looks like up close once it's on. I think it looks pretty good, pretty much like I'm sure it would have looked when it was brand new. I did replace the bolts here on the sides and with new washers. They were kind of rusty, and then I do have the plugs to go in there. I don't have that firmed in there yet because until I get the hood on, I might have to adjust this a little bit, and I don't want to ding anything up when I put the hood back on. All right, we're back after a quick trip to the hardware store where I got some good silicone and also a new grill because the last wind storm blew the grill out in the driveway, which killed it. So got the silicone. I was going to put the new black strips on the sides here today, but then I realized I don't have the hood on the tractor, and I need to do that because these are slotted and they you can move them up and down. So I want to wait until I have the hood on, line it up with the nose piece, and then make sure that when I secure the black pieces that they are lined up with the nose piece. So I'll describe how I do that. I'm not going to do it today, but you'll have a good idea how I do them, just because I want to make sure they're lined up when I put the whole thing together. The way that I do secure the black pieces is I get these automotive body clamps or the trim panel retainers. I get a gloss black head on them. The size that works best for this is, well, I guess it's not written on here, but that's the part number at Napa, 665-2377. And these just kind of push in through the hole in the black, and they push in through here, and they secure it pretty well with all of the silicone on the back. When I put the silicone on the black pieces, at the factory, they ran a bead, a constant bead along like that. If you can see the pitting here in the white that we just painted over, I didn't worry about smoothing that out with body filler because I knew the black piece would fill it up. But what happens is when it's that constant straight pieces of silicone or the caulk that they used, dirt gets in behind there and then water, and it can't get out, so it sits on top and it starts rusting it. Same thing happens with the nameplates. You can kind of see how they just ran a thing. I've cleaned most of it off, and that just traps water and dirt behind it and creates a rust hazard and kind of makes a mess behind these. So what I like to do when I do these is I put short strips top to bottom at an angle, so if water or dirt gets in there, it can go on through and get out the bottom, both on the nameplate and on the black strips. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first put a little bit of silicone over each of the holes, as I mentioned before. It helps retain the screws that I put in, because they're not really for holding the plate on, they're more just to cover these holes. And it seals when the screw goes through. If it does knock off some of the paint, it will kind of hopefully seal that up so you don't get rust down the road. Kind of get the plate lined up, and then what I'm going to do is just run a few strips just kind of in the area between where the screws are, and this just keeps the plate from rattling and secures it on the tractor. So put my silicone away, get one of my number 8 white-headed screws, kind of get set up, and I'm going to do this kind of like I did the front. I'm going to get it on, get it lined up, and get it on just a couple turns. And just let it ride there for a second, hopefully not knocking any of my silicone around. I'm going to go to another one, get it lined up. And then go do the bottom 3, and then I'll tighten them all up. It's just the way that I do it. You know, they had the plastic rivets in these to start from the factory. I've only seen a couple of those still in existence, because usually they broke off and they weren't around. I think they relied pretty heavily on whatever kind of caulk it was that they used, which is, of course, back when they were making it, it was probably made with some stuff they can't use anymore, but was it's very hard to get off once it's on there. So I just find clear silicone works pretty well, so that's what I use. Not tightening these real tight because I just wait until they make contact, and they seem to be kind of tight because that hole's not really threaded. It's just this number 8 is about the right size to go in there, and so I don't want to strip it so that then the threads on these number 8s don't have anything to hold on to. I guess the old saying is tight's tight and too tight is stripped. So that's kind of, there you can see the whole nameplate is secured, the screws are on there. Like I said, I would then put the caulk on this area here in my strips, line those up, put my body fasteners through, which do help secure it to there. I'd use a little bit more caulk on those black strips, and then I'd be done. So when it's all said and done, if I can do this without scratching anything, we're gonna have the classic look going here. Although the black strip's a little dusty right now, I think this is gonna look good. The paint on top of this hood, although it's not perfect for 1969 paint, is really good, and that's why I just don't want this whole tractor was pretty nice, except the black was pretty rough on the strips around, and then the white was just orange like they get. So that's why we decided to do just a little touch up on it, but we're gonna try to leave this one pretty much original. And as a note, this correct size for the body fasteners is right here, 5/16 hole, head's 3/4, and the stem is 31/32, I think. But those are the correct size to fit in on to secure the black piece.